All right, and we are returning back to Anarchy. Here we go, guys. Back into the run. Let's make this happen. We actually just had Shade bow out. LZT was just not feeling super great right now, so we had to dip out tonight, and that's okay. He'll be back with us next session, and he'll definitely be around to help us wrap up the Jameson mission, regardless of what it is. And we can push forward. So he'll be missed, but he'll be around.
But he's with us in spirit.
That's right.
And in character.
That's right. So, I believe I've said my part of the story. I believe
it's my turn then.
Yeah, because you knocked the dude out and you took your stuff in. Chord took the uniform.
I listen in on the communications. Firstly, I asked the guard his name so that I know what exactly I need to listen for if they're talking to him.
What is his name?
His name is Robert Hemsworth. And he...
One of the lesser-known Hemsworths.
Yeah.
Yes. And he has a... Fuck. How far can I take this? I don't know. Okay. Let's try this. There are call signs that these guards use. And
okay.
I don't know what I'm doing. I'm trying to think where can I take this story in a good direction? And the only thing I can think of is I made this guy try to pee his pants. And I'm just out of it. I try to listen for if Mr. Jameson is trying to say anything to the people here. I am bad at this anarchy. It's been so long.
I will tell you right away, Jameson is not on the radio whatsoever. He, essentially, this is used between this security group, which Robert.
I said he was on earlier.
Robert will actually tell you that they are contracted out by Jameson.
How long have you been contracted?
A few years, though. The contract's about to run out. Says he can't afford to pay us anymore.
Well, no, duh.
But yeah, we're wrapping up. We're wrapping up our month.
Okay, can we make that wrap up faster? Like right now?
You'd have to talk to the boss, but he's not here. In fact, I'm sure he's asleep right now.
He's asleep?
Possibly, yeah.
Aww. No, I couldn't. I possibly couldn't.
Uh-oh. I don't like the sound of that.
I don't either. So we can't get closer until we get the sensor moving, right? Or the sensor off, right? We need at least like 3 of them off before we can get to where we need to go.
Supposedly,
Well,
in order to get past that little hole.
If Haas lifts us, we can do it.
That was a suggestion.
Why don't I just... I ask him, if this sensor dies, will something bad happen? Will they be alerted?
I mean, they would if the network were working, but it's down for some reason. So even if you broke one, it wouldn't alert the rest.
Interesting. And I crush it with small fry of lightning. Wait, what?
You just don't want to get close to it, is what you're thinking. Like,
no, I can zap it, you dummy, with my lightning because I'm magical. And I zap it.
okay, so I'm not going to make you roll for that. You just zap it.
Kazam! And then I look to Haas and say, Haas, are you sure we got a pile up on you?
I used to wrestle trolls regularly. It's not going to be a problem. I don't think so.
Okay.
I've tossed with bigger guys than you, Smiley.
Well, very well. And I point down to him, Robert, and I say, what do we want to do with him?
Knock him out.
Knock him out? Okay, Haas, knock him out.
Night.
Bam!
Shock hand. Get a plot point. Also, Bob, I forgot to give it to you earlier, but that good narration a minute ago, go ahead and get another plot point.
That was also one of my cues, so I'm all plotted up.
Oh, yes. I'm sure you're maxed out. You sort of are an eloquent storyteller with this system.
I like it. I like it a lot. It's nice.
All
I figured
right.
you would.
We move forward to the stairs.
All right. So it's assuming you
Underneath.
guys like zap and shoot or whatever with the motion sensors, and you just slip right through the net.
I'd say so.
Okay.
And as we move through I imagine it. Now we're in like the woods. This isn't like a place that has like a mowed lawn. This is not a mowed lawn we're in right now.
There is a bit of a lawn, like just short of it. It's actually in the photographs. There is a slight lawn there on the slope.
Okay.
Robert is out of action.
I'm so hesitant. I'm so sorry. Oh my god. I'm just scared of something going wrong, even though I'm technically in control.
Yeah, you're controlling the story.
We already know that the drones are overhead, and they're busy.
I got him.
Yeah, Chord's got those.
They're busy. Okay,
The
so
visible
let's-
guy on the ground is now out. We have his RFID chip, and we have clear line up to the front, because at this point, he's already taken control of the Hellhound in the back. So, if anything happens...
So we just need to release the Hellhound, and it'll get that guy.
Is he... Wait,
Maybe?
I thought this was that guy. Wasn't this that guy? Oh, no, you're talking about that guy.
The guy who makes fun of the Hellhound.
Feasibly, your story.
Yeah, it's
I
your
guess
narration,
so.
man. You
Yeah.
control it.
And I imagine that as we approach, we might hear some of his snide remarks. Like, you ain't any better than a chihuahua. You're so harmless and not even adorable. You would win the Minnesota Ugly Dog Contest. You know?
You're cutting him deep. Oh, my
No, right? And Smiley sort of like looks to Haas and says, all right, we're going to go up right when the dog gets really mad.
Okay, I'm gonna pull my umbrella down and throw it over back. Shade, arm over neck, and then Chord and Smiley on one on each arm.
All right, so you're going to sneak around to the side is what you're doing?
I mean, aren't we kind of already at the side?
You're kind of at the front of the building.
Okay,
Yeah, you're
then,
down here.
yeah, definitely to the side.
Okay.
And you were going for, if we were looking at the sketches, you were trying to go for this side of the building, the right side? Is that what you were doing?
Hold on, there was another sketch here that I saw.
So this is the left side.
Yeah, that's the left side.
And then
That's
the
where
right-
we're facing, right?
Yeah, I thought that's where we were facing right now.
Yeah, we're on the left side.
You're roughly around here, like in front of this spot.
Okay, so we could... Do we want to go up those stairs or no?
Well, we would be in front of the glass. Wait,
you do know there's
these-
one guard on the balcony?
There is.
You talking about
Yeah.
these stairs right here?
Yeah, those stairs, yeah.
Yeah, I think we were intending on going up those steps.
Okay.
Okay, then let's go to the steps.
All right, you approach the steps,
And...
which to orient you on the map is going to put you up here.
Okay. And I look to you guys and say, we're going for the roof, right? We're not going for Jameson or any of these fools.
Not yet.
Yeah, I don't think so, not yet. I think we'll get there, but
All right. And along the way, I'm sort of rolling to Chord, like make sure there's nothing that can get us caught, right?
Good question. No, there isn't. They've been using these drones as security rather than actual cameras because they're more flexible, and there's really nothing guarding this other than the door, which has an electronic lock on it, which I can get around.
All right. And I guess the vents are going to be the biggest problem, considering the size of our heavy hitter. And we'll go up the stairs, and I imagine if we need... do I still have control of that spirit?
The spirit's still hovering around, but it has no orders.
Okay. I'm gonna... If we need a boost, like, Haas, if you need to, like... oh, no! What if, Haas, you toss us up, and I make the spirit, like, do a double jump for us, and it, like, hops us up just enough to get over the,
It's like,
the roof.
like lifts us up or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, like that!
Okay.
Okay.
It's not that high.
It's
I
3
know,
stories,
but
is it
still.
not? From the ground floor, it's like 3 stories up.
Yeah, because
Well,
you
we've gone
guys,
upstairs.
yeah, you guys are at this elevation unless
The
you
stairs
go,
are outside.
You guys are
True.
at this elevation unless you go further up.
True, but if we move up to the steps and we start going up the steps, we have that entire line of windows to pass. And while you could go underneath them, Haas is a wall of flesh and steel.
Well, I know the guards' patterns. We can wait until a time when they're not in front of
Yeah.
me.
Wait a minute.
was
Okay,
it
so
with-
is this a balcony
Yeah,
right
so-
here? Is this thing a balcony right there?
Yes.
It is.
Okay, so then realistically, we could half walk up this flight of steps right here, and then I could just lip you guys up to that balcony, not even having to pass by the windows up to the roof.
Mm-hmm.
That seems feasible. That's way more feasible.
It's a impeccable amount of timing on Chord's part to make sure we have enough time to get up there with no range of error, thanks to the spirit that's able to make sure we don't get shot too far up or too far or too low.
There's actually no one at that entrance or at those windows at all.
Well, poop sauce.
Guards don't go there. Jameson is the closest one to there. He's not moving.
Which
Yeah, and if we use the
It's right there.
if we use the front view, he's technically right here.
So he's second floor.
Or actually, this
Yeah.
is the right window right here.
okay. Yeah, he's really close.
Wait a minute. If he's in like this area right here, and that's the window, there are windows literally on this wall. Wouldn't we just be able to see into that room? Or
Yeah,
am I...
technically you can see Jameson.
So
No, because there's this other room in between.
is
Yeah,
there room in
it's-
between? Okay.
It's like
I
small,
like to make one more point.
Oh yeah. There is a room. Okay.
Like at the end of my little tale that I have no ability to make look beautiful like Bub does, I do want to sort of focus on one thing, that as we get onto the roof, Smiley sort of, because I imagine I don't believe there'll be anything in our way as we get up to the roof and get onto the vents. Even though we're a little bit distracted by the proximity of the man who is responsible for all of this. When Smiley goes first, and when he gets up there, he ensures that at first the taser is still attached to his person, but he sort of like reaches into his pants and just sort of adjusts, and we can see the handle of a very pristine looking revolver that he got from Nancy before we left. I want that to be the glitch.
Okay, run that by me again.
I want to use the exploit I had with Nancy as she gave him a revolver.
Okay, I can roll that, sure.
That's going to be it. And he just sort of adjusts this to make sure it's like stuffed back out of sight.
Okay. By the way,
And-
just double check something. Chord, didn't you have some desire to talk to Mr. Jameson?
I think we've all.
We all want to
Adventures.
talk to him, but is that the aim of this mission?
Good question.
I do. I'm not going to do it right now. I want to be in a position of power over him before I talk to him.
Let's get the is the Izanagi before we talk to him. And we get onto the roof, and to our great delight, I think me and Chord will be able to fit into the vents no problem. But I don't think Haas is going to be able to. I don't know. I think we'll be able to fit Haas in, but if we do, he's going to be a little loud. Like, I can imagine him going down the vents, causing a little bit of those types of noises. Clunk, clunk, clunk.
Of course.
So Smiley looks towards Chord and says, "So that hellhound, do you think you can make it like really loud? Like maybe not attack people right now, but just make it like bark?"
Uh,
Make it go crazy. Make it yap.
Well, from my recollection, hellhounds are, while they're not incredibly intelligent, they have a basic understanding of commands, and they can assess. Like they have some understanding of assessment of freedom.
I'm also going to go ahead and say that they are hellhounds, and therefore their barks sound like a banshee's wail, so it will cover up any noise that Haas will make when we go down there.
Tell you what, just
I
'cause I have
can't
the power
hack a
to-
dog.
No.
Yeah, I was gonna say hack a dog. What a silly
Or you
idea.
can do everything.
We
No, it's
believe
fine. The
you.
dog's got a chip in his head. The
Let's
kind of
see.
chip that they usually use for tracking, and sometimes with guard dogs to control them.
Oh God! You
So in
put it
this
the
case, I
dog's
can't
head?
hack a dog.
You put it in the dog's head, not on his collar. Jesus.
What I could do is I could make the. You know how animals like know that something supernatural is going on, even though we don't sometimes.
Hey, guess what? I found the description for Hellhound.
Really?
I did. It's in the core book of SR5, but the Hellhound is a metaspecies of the German Shepherd dog, standing about 90 centimeters at the shoulder and weighing in at about 145 kilograms. Their coats are as black as coal, and their eyes are red-rimmed. They are peck-hunting predators, typically hunting small game up to the size of a deer. Though they're not above scavenging if the situation calls for it, they're also not afraid of going after larger animals, sometimes including metahumans, if they have the numbers. They're popular as security animals, especially in isolated facilities in rural areas.
Also, they breathe fire.
Yep.
They breathe a little fire.
They breathe,
If,
breathe a lot
if
of fire.
I need to, I will make my spirit go down there and sort of like wiggle around at the window, so the hellhound gets all like,
Not even like angry barking, just like annoying barking.
So if you wanted to help out, you could like, I don't know, short circuit that chip in his head and just make it really, really angry and agitated from it.
Yeah, I could do that too.
If you really want to do that to a hellhound.
It seems mean. I don't condone animal cruelty.
we'll
I'll
take him
hack
home
this
with
dog.
us. It's a dog. It's not a cat. We're the cat club. We don't work for the dogs.
What is this cat? What is this? The movie Cats and Dogs?
Mm,
Yes.
Yes, it is.
it's fine. All dogs go to heaven, even hellhounds.
Gosh.
Itchy, scratch 'em.
Okay, do you hack the dog's chip and make it do that?
Fine, I'll hack the dog. All right, I'm gonna hack the dog.
Okay.
Someone quote
Shadowrun,
that.
where you hack the dog.
Shadowrun Anarchy. Fuck you.
What
do I
Raggy,
want?
The dog.
I rolled a
Right,
4 to
okay.
hack the dog.
Okay, the dog rolls.
He rolls over.
Ah!
Oh, that's awful.
Who's a
Okay.
good boy? Who's a good hellhound?
Okay, Chord, what happens to the dog? Articulate, please.
The dog, having been tormented by this guy, previously, the like aggression that he has pent up is like already basically directed at this guard. And the only thing that's been stopping him from just barking at him this whole time or just straight up attacking him is like the shock collar around his neck, which could control him. But that's also hacked. So what is he gonna do? He's just gonna bark. He's just gonna start barking at this guard who's tormented him for so long.
Starts like clawing, hitting the chain. Oh gosh. And then the
Just
guy's
barking,
like,
growling.
"What are you
angry
doing, you
blood
ugly
coming
animal?
off him.
What do you want, you freak of nature?"
He's like gnawing at the bars.
Oh gosh. Okay.
And that is when I tell Haas, descend.
So there's so much of a racket
Descend.
going on back here. Private Security 1 goes to check it out. And Security 3 is like, what's going on? What is that noise out there?
All right, so I guess I start with the throwing.
So did you
Yeah.
guys come all the way up to the balcony here?
I believe so.
Okay, so you went all the way up to the balcony and throw them up to the roof?
I don't think I need to do that. I think I just lift them up. I just kind of like
I mean, yeah.
push them up there because it's a at most it's 12 feet, right? So
I mean,
8 feet
yeah.
tall, 3.5, 4 feet long arms, and they're every bit of 5 or 6 feet long. So
Probably not even 2 meters.
yeah, I just push them up there.
You just push them on up?
Yeah.
All right, they're on the roof. So we shall move them onto the roof view. Roof view, here we come. So you guys are on the roof now.
On the roof, and there
All right, now
is
we go
a
back down.
ruckus,
Now we go
and
back
we can go down the vents.
We're still on Smiley's narration, right?
Yes.
We are.
Just checking. So is there any particular kind of role you're wanting to do?
Can I, this is Anarchy, so I don't have that exact spell, but I want to do clairvoyance and try to see what parts of the vents... Actually, no. Chord, you can see where the vents might end up at, right?
I mean, you guys could,
Yeah,
So
this is
what?
a smart home.
let's just say that because you guys have the whole blueprints, let's just say you do have the vent schematics just because plot points and anarchy.
Cool.
Okay, so we want to get to the underground floor plan, right?
If we have blueprints, then we definitely have the HVAC plans. It's just that just comes in. It's yeah, it's there.
Well, there you go.
So do
It's
we want to
obviously
be...
not on this map, but
So do we want to be here by the end of this? I pinged way up here.
Okay, so that means you're having to go back down three flights?
I
Yeah,
think
because-
so, but
because if
hopefully
you-
the vents will let us do that without running into these guards.
So let me show you this map here real quick. This floor is considered the underground. This is considered the ground floor. This is the elevated ground floor. And obviously the balcony and stuff's there, so that's represented by this roof plan.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, just one more time. That's the underground, ground floor, and then elevated ground floor. So underground, you'd be going back down 3 flights. And Jameson is on, he's roughly around here.
Yeah, he's. Mm-hmm.
What was the plan again?
Well, you're talking about going on the roof and going in a vent.
Yes. And I want to make sure that there's a vent that will get us to where we want to go.
And where do you want to go?
We want to find the Izanagi business.
Okay.
I mean, and I would say like it seems most likely that it would be in the basement. That's where the spider is.
Yeah. So I wanna like get all of us down there in that case.
Okay.
And if I need to, I will clairvoyance the basement in the vent exits to make sure we're clear.
I shall spend a plot point. GM plot point.
Stop that!
So the GM plot points that yes, there are vents, but they're not all interconnected. They're basically kind of split up in various ways. So like the roof will get you down to the second floor, but there's no interconnected one to get you to the ground floor, and so on for the rest of them. You have to go into completely separate vents in different rooms.
Okay, you do that.
That's frustrating to my college degree. I have a background in architecture, and you're bothering me.
Hey, we're in a universe full of like virtual reality matrix and magic and stuff. Screw your
You'd think they know how to design a home.
Yeah, no shit, right?
Hold on, guys. Is there a cue that can help me? It says right here. Hold on. My dad makes ventilation for houses for the rich for a living. Let me call him up. Papa!
Papa!
Oh, well, Stu Bailey, thank you, I guess.
Okay.
You call your
I don't call my papa. That is not an actual cue.
You don't call your papa, okay.
No. He cannot help me. He's a hippie. I think the story needs to go over the Chord because there's no one to talk to and nothing to cast my spells at.
Alright, so we'll proceed to Chord.
Unfortunately. Right. I'm so sorry, Speedy. I only got us to the roof, and I made the ventilations horrible.
Hey, you guys are making movements. Maybe in the wrong direction, but you're making movements.
We said we were going to the roof! That's what they told me we were going to do! You're the one who spent a plot point saying the vents don't go to the basement.
Now that we're past all the motion sensor stuff, I'm going to take that RFID thing back from Haas.
I'm not going to be able to get up there.
Guard.
Yeah, I'm not going to be able to get up there because realistically the vents would be sized for medium-sized figures. Plus, despite how loud this dog barks, I'm still almost 800 pounds. And
yeah, he'd be loud.
Yeah. I'd be Dasher and Dancer and all of the others as well.
By the way, are you going on the roof with him, or are you just still kind of chilling on that catwalk?
I want to get down to the base floor. I mean, I can still calmly back to them, but I'm gonna actually steeple all the way down to the below ground level.
All right, so back to the underground level. Okie dokie. So that'll put you up here on the map.
Okay. Okay, so if you're going there, can I actually get that RFID thing from you then? Or are there RFID things here that would be set off if you go there without it?
I don't know, are there?
No, they're not.
Yeah, that's my one quip of anarchy. I don't know, are there? I don't know, is there?
No, the motion sensors were further away from that. They're more for the outer perimeter. All right, well, I'm going to open up that vent up top, and I'm going to drop myself down.
Okay.
And lead the crew down into these vents.
Okay, you lead the crew into the vents, and you're going to end up on the raised ground floor. Basically around somewhere on this part of the map.
Right. Where there's currently no guards, correct?
Well, they're represented here, but I'll move
Okay,
them.
right.
I'll move them to where they are on that map. Womp.
Okay. Um. All right. Make my way down to this floor where we're able to drop down into like this room.
Sure. I'll go move your tokens there.
I can't move all of us.
Well, I went ahead and
thanks.
did that.
Okay.
Because I'm such a nice GM. I do such wonderful things for you guys.
Thanks.
Like split off your vacations.
What a swell guy.
I'm a super slow guy, though.
We drop down into this this bathroom with an overhead vent in it, and inside there's obviously no people because that would be gross. But it's like a fairly dingy bathroom considering how nice the rest of this place is. It's probably the place where the guards go to pee, which isn't in the trees.
I tried, Speedy.
So, by the way, roughly on the front elevation, you guys are roundabout to that spot-ish.
Okay.
I'll sit down here.
Now, I'm trying to think of what would be actually interesting here. So from within here, just like peeking my head out of this top door, I can see like over here, which seems to be where they have like that's like the security system, that security checkpoint that they have like basically for the front door.
Like a node.
The kind of thing that like the host would generally be attached to, but currently isn't, obviously. I'm going to go ahead and hack into that. What that controls is something that was not picked up on my sensors before because they were all running on silent and fairly well protected. It's a series of turrets.
Oh. Well, I was actually gonna plot point. Actually, I'm gonna do it anyway. So I spent a plot point that, sure, yes, as you say, they are turrets, and they are all linked from this thing. Essentially, the host would obviously encompass all the devices that are in there.
Right.
But sometimes they're manually controlled up to a specific node in case maybe you want to plug into one and just operate them from there, or directly interface with them or something. So that particular node handles all the turrets in the building.
Now, you may be wondering, where are all the turrets in the building? Well, you see all these little black dots that are at various vertices on different floors?
That's what we're making them. Okay. Okay. That's a lot.
Oh my god, ground floor is fun.
The ground floor has a lot.
Oh my god.
There's a decent number on the other floors, but the ground floor has a lot.
Oh, Jesus. Okay, that's what we're doing? Okay.
Because that's where Jameson lives. He's, he's currently in his office that is adjacent to the master bedroom. Actually, this is a weird room layout right next to that. I don't really know what that's all about, but I'm going to assume that that's his bedroom. This is his office. This is...
I guess a walk-in
bathroom.
bathroom, like walk through the bathroom.
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Those do exist in fancy houses.
I suppose. Yeah, if the bathroom's nice enough, you want to walk through it. You want to show off. Anyways. Of course, it's weird that there's no turrets protecting the outside close to where he sleeps, but no one would think to go through those doors or those windows. Anyways, yeah, I've hacked into that, and therefore have control over all of the turrets. Except that there's far too many of them for me to control all of them at once.
Well, you gotta hack me first.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, I guess.
Hack me, bro.
Oh, that's good.
I'm gonna pre-edge this one
Okay, so all fours
because this could go real wrong otherwise.
Yep, so all fours will count, and you get 1 extra die.
Will you pre-edge all fours count?
Fours count.
Whoa!
And you get a single extra die.
God
There's
damn.
But
Alright.
the catch is there's no exploding sixes.
Does this count as cyber combat?
I mean, do you want to brute force hack the thing?
What could go wrong if I do?
Well, it alerts the system, but they have no clue where you are. At least that's how
I'll just hack.
Okay.
I don't want cyber combat.
Because that's how 5th edition works. Okay. You hack that thing. If you want to, by the way, you can spend a plot point to try and roll a glitch die to see if you can get yourself an exploit. That's something you can do with your plot points, fellas.
Nah, I'm fine with what I have. So I've taken control of this security terminal that seems to control the turrets. But there's too many turrets to control all at once. Most of them, they operate automatically. Or in fact, all of them can operate automatically, but they require to be locked on to a specific target. You can choose only one. I have the ability to choose only one target at a time to target with these turrets. And then switching them over would take like not another hack roll, but like at least a couple seconds to kind of switch over. It does have registered the RFIDs of all of the guards who are here, as well as Jameson, so that it knows not to shoot at them, so that it doesn't catch any of them in crossfire. However, I have turned that off entirely and now have the ability to just aim directly at them and, in fact, hone in on exactly where they are if need be. I also have it recognize the RFID that I have as friendly, so it doesn't shoot at anywhere near.
So, in how 5th edition would operate this kind of thing is you would be doing a control device action, and you're sending like commands out to each turret to tell it to, oh, shoot this thing that I designate, or shoot that thing.
Yeah. Yes, essentially there's like, I've given it, I can give it a command of a person, or an RFID to target. But I think that's about all that I can do right now.
Sure. Now this
I wonder what all these dots were supposed to be on the map.
I don't know. I don't know. So
lamps, maybe.
So Shade, he just stands ready. He just keeps the gun ready just in case of any action. So he holds. And now for GM turn. So GM turn says, I want to find this doohickeyness going on. So let's see. Speedy, I challenge you to another hacking roll.
Lovely.
Well, that's okay, because I have 1 edge on this guy. I'm going to spend it.
Sure, go for it. Good luck.
Nothing personal, kid.
Yeah!
Ugh.
There we go. Do you have any edge left?
I do have some edge left. I'm not going to use it.
You're not going to use it?
Nope.
Okay, are you sure?
Yep.
Okay, so the spider notices that something's actually controlling the turrets, and he's like, wait, what is that? He traces through the line, and through that trace, he finds your mark. It's like, wait a second. He traces that mark back, and he seems to find your deck. He doesn't seem to have your exact location, but he sees your deck trying to do this hacking attempt. And he's like, oh no, I ain't having this shit. So he's basically going to sling a data spike at you to see if he can like frag you up. But he's also going to send an alert to the guards. Hey, somebody's hacking into our system.
All right.
So I'm going to do hacking against you.
Oof.
And I want and just use the cyber combat to defend. Oof. So
close.
he gets a nice big whack on your deck, and causes it to like fry a little bit in your hands, and you notice it's starting to bug out a bit. So I'm going to spend a plot point. For every hacking attempt you do from here on out, you must roll a glitch die.
Okay.
And that's the end of Mr. Spider's turn, while the guards are, what's going on? Something's happening. All right, back to Bub.
I can hear him, right?
Oh yeah, you can hear the commotion.
Okay. All right. I have no idea what's going on up there. Not a clue.
I tell you, Smiley will gladly tell you. They know.
I love it. Okay.
I think our hoops are hosed, boys.
All right. So there does. You know what? Okay. So shit. Shit. Okay. This is tricky. All right.
Plot points. Plot
All right.
points.
So is Chord aware that this? I'm assuming Chord is aware that this happens. He probably gets
He's
some kind
aware.
of. All right.
Yeah,
He's aware.
I'll tell you.
Yeah, there's a communication. All right. Knowing that we are aware of where Mr. Jameson is, I receive a message on comms that things are starting to go sideways.
Uh-oh.
Haas, knowing only how to confront things personally and up front, he does the only thing that Haas knows how to do. He starts building up momentum, and he becomes the Haas that stalks in the night.
Uh-oh.
I'm going to athletics up from the underground floor plan from the grass area, and spring up to that window through it.
To Jameson?
To Jameson, yeah.
From the front or the side?
From the only window that's visible in his ground floor plan. Right
So
here.
basically this window right here.
Yeah.
Oh boy, goody jolly good goodness. Okay.
I am the Haas that stalks in the night.
All right. For this amazing act of gymnastics and athletics, do your athletics roll, and this is slightly tricky, so I'm going to do 8 dice.
All right. What's the worst that could happen here? Okay. So, we have... How much edge do I have? I got a lot of edge. All right, here we go. Did our edge reset, by the way?
Your edge did reset, yes.
Okay, then I'm going to use that one that I'm... There, that one. Take it back. Take it! And I'm going to pre-edge to make sure that I am the most mobile semi-truck coming through his window.
Oh, God.
All right, so if I do that, does it count as pre-edging, or does that even work? How does that even work there?
Hang on.
So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have 7 successes.
Here you go. So under skills, do you see where it shows that exclamation point in the triangle?
Nope.
It's right above your
Oh,
list of
there it is.
skills
I see
and
it.
all those icons.
Yep.
So that's the edge toggle.
Okay. All right, well, I guess I'll roll it again. Here we go.
Go for it.
Still got 7.
Good God Almighty. Okay, so you do this with great ease. Please continue.
As I spring through the window, surprise! There he is, the man we've been after the entire time. I'm assuming that he wasn't exactly prepared for this. What is this? What does this room look like?
It's a pretty simple office. It's like a curved L desk. There's some books. There's a few electronics, like a trid projector. It's a very simplistic office. It's not too frivolous. Mostly wooden pattern throughout it. Marble flooring, things like that, with a bit of carpet.
Sure.
And
Using
the odd plant or two.
using the momentum as he basically leaps, grabbing the lip of the windowsill, propelling himself through, much like you would see a bull go through a matador. He uses his momentum to carry himself through, and then he surprise hugs the shit out of Jameson. It's an emergency hug, courtesy of Haas.
Man, I wish I had a big glass breaking sound effects. So you leap on up, and just this smash of glass as you come in, and you manage to... Okay, fuck, he's not in a very good angle where he was sitting for the smashy hug. So I will let you smash right on in and surprise him, because he didn't expect you to be doing that.
Sure.
Smashy hug might be a little much. Smashy hug might be a little much.
Okay,
So,
well, I continue on to my story. I move through with momentum instead of just walking over and I mean, I'm just going to do it anyway. I'm just going to walk up and grab him. It's the same man that we've seen, right? This is the same person that basically flashbanged my eyeballs.
It's the same man, though. Before you do that, just as you're recovering, like you're getting ready to get up, you're getting ready to move at him, get ready to tackle him because he might do something dangerous. What Jameson's going to do instead, interestingly enough, I'm going to cut the music here. Jameson, he seems a little alarmed at the sudden breaking of glass, but he doesn't look surprised. In fact, he seems to jolt just a little bit from the sudden shock sound like you would from a scary movie.
Sure.
But then the tension slowly eases, and you just see a sigh, just almost a sigh of relief. It's like, well then. And just before you make a move, like you're getting ready to get up and tackle him, he reaches over toward an intercom, very calmly, and he manages to say, "Stand down." He says to the intercom.
Nice.
I hear that.
Everyone. That's probably surprising for everyone. We weren't expecting that. Oh, don't make me make hard decisions tonight. Don't make this person have a sob story that I just know. My heart can't take it, okay? I see your shit-eating grin, and I know where you're going with this.
Should have done the idea.
So, what happens is he goes, Jack, call up your men. The runners got past your security, so I won't be needing your services anymore. And you actually do see a couple of the guards come busting in, just like at the same time as this was going. But they just stare at Haas and Mr. Jameson for a second. And then Mr. Jameson just says, "You're free to go. I don't need you anymore." And the guards look at each other very confused. And Jameson then just says, "You can go ahead and take your drones off the premises. I won't be needing them either."
I followed those guards down the stairs because I'm dressed like a guard.
You leave?
And when he dismisses them, I don't leave.
Okay. The guards obviously don't recognize you, and they just seem you're weird, but they're like, "Wait a second, he must be one of the Shadowrunners." Well, frag us, we fucked up. So the guards very reluctantly leave.
A giant troll with cybernetic arms snuck past you. You're no longer needed here.
Snuck.
Yeah. Yeah, no joke.
Or perhaps he just knew this was coming all this time. And he wasn't going to make any bones about it. In fact, when you finally get a chance to see him, you notice that there was a bit of guilt there. Just a hint of it that you notice.
What's he saying?
Now, he's just sitting in a regular office chair. He's just sitting there. He was probably working on something, writing something. And he was just behind his desk.
Okay.
So after...
Given that he's kind of behind his desk and he's alerted everyone, I'm assuming that my allies are now they're descending as well.
Mm-hmm.
Correct.
Before they get there, I just want to tell him, you done a bad thing. A lot of people got hurt because of you. You
Why
were
don't we wait
raised
for your
right, were
friends to
you?
get in here before we finish this discussion?
Okay.
And he
I'll
makes
wait.
sure to go on the intercom and say, if you see people you don't recognize, let them through. Don't even give them a look on their way in. However, they do give you looks on the way in because it's like, these fraggers got through our security.
That's right. We're professionals.
So I was like, little taser.
Idiots.
All right. So he waits for all of you to enter. He also seems to check his map. Like, he pulls up on a display over on the side. Oh, and you might want to collect your man out front. I'm assuming he looks at Chord, noticing the uniform. He might be a little bit naked out there. And then he just pushes the intercom and the display away. And he leans back in his chair. Looking at all three of you. 4 of you, actually, because Shade's still there. Shade, however, he's just going to be like, I'm going to watch the premises just in case. So he's going to just step into the next room and just watch the perimeter. Make sure there's no bold moves.
I imagine LZT would have just shot him on sight.
Maybe. So the 3 of you are there while LZT Shade is securing the perimeter.
Look to Chord, then to Smiley, and then back to Jameson. You know, a lot of people died because of you. A lot of people didn't have to die. They died because of you.
A lot of people still might.
This would have been nice to just talk this over.
It's not for lack of trying. I tried to reach out to you.
Well, to be fair, I couldn't tell if you were with Neonet or not. I couldn't trust you. For all I know, you could have been on their payroll when you came in, so I couldn't afford risking telling you what my plan was. But that seems moot at this point, he says, just looking around the room.
So you trust us now?
Remains to be seen. I've been watching your activity to see what you would do to get to me. I figured you'd be coming sooner or later, or Neonet would, one of the two. And much to my surprise, I'm surprised that Eliza, much to my surprise, that Eliza actually decided to keep you all on retainer. Usually Eliza tends to cut and run when... God, I can't speak today. Eliza usually tends to cut off anyone that Neonet doesn't deem necessary. But I guess this must be a more hush-hush than I figured it would be.
I think you count as what they might call an extenuating circumstance.
Perhaps. But yes, I have been watching your activities since the shootout at the Midnight Glade.
Been a long 2 days.
Yes, and I see you've gotten a lot done. In fact, if I were still looking for Shadowrunners myself, I'd be very impressed. Usually I don't have people as efficient, but I also don't have as many people who'd go to the lengths they've gone through to find me. First thing he does is he looks over at Smiley. My sources in Neonet told me that you interrogated and tortured my friend Tarnus before killing him. I'd like to ask why.
I didn't kill him.
Well, I know you've gone into that interrogation room, and I know as soon as you came out, he was dead. Care to explain that?
Words are the only thing I know how to wield. You made it very difficult to use that to my advantage. In absence of words, and an ear with which to give them to, I have to rely on other things like these people, who I respect and trust now. If he died, that's how this world works. You know better than to question that. It's my goal to make sure that words are the only weapon, because I've seen them do tremendous things.
But that does not give you an excuse to kill Tarnus. He was an unarmed prisoner. He was wired up to a machine, practically defenseless.
Doesn't
And
give you the right to put us in a position where we are slaves to a corporation.
this does
we
not
have no
diminish
intention.
killing an innocent man. Yes, he was involved in my affairs, but in the grand scheme of things, he had very little to do with this operation. He provided a place, he provided some direction, but he was meant to be out of the crosshairs. In fact, there wasn't supposed to be a shootout at the Midnight Blade.
You know, last I checked, he wasn't exactly innocent. Right before I popped him one, he shot at me more than a couple of times. And he knew what he was getting into when he started taking your money. This wasn't exactly a big secret between you two. It's dangerous. As a runner, even I know that.
At this point, he looks over to the side and he flicks an AR window open and he hovers it around in front of you. It's security cam footage from the Midnight Glade on the night of the attack. And what you see is Tarnus was obviously engaging the Neonet guys as they busted in, trying to keep them from getting to Jameson. But then he sees you, boss, like get up from your table you were perched at, and he sees you approach and get ready to attack him, and not sure what you were going to do to him. He raises his gun at you in defense, and that's when you tackled him and knocked him out. And then Jameson moves the window to the side. He was originally there to help keep Neonet from following me. That's what his only job was. But you gave him to him like a lamb to the slaughter.
That's actually not how it went. I know that your footage right there shows it as it is, but if you want to keep playing that back, when they were circling him so that they could shoot him 1 or 2 times, I put my body over his to make sure that he made it out of there alive.
Well, look where that got him.
Look, I did what I can. And he knew what he was getting himself into.
By the way, Smiley, I want you to go ahead and roll a negotiation check, and everyone else who has some negotiation, they can help you. If you don't have the skill negotiation, which I guess in your case, Bub, you can just roll charisma flat, and any hits you get add to Smiley's dice pool.
Okay. I will roll that charisma now. Attribute, charisma.
Would diplomacy add to this?
I got 3.
Sure, yes. So you got 5 additional dice, Smiley.
As if he needs it.
Holy
Now
shit.
because this is Jameson we're talking about.
All of my helping dice stopped. I got nothing but 7.
So, Jameson leans back. Looking back now, I do regret involving him in this, but he was there when my wife died. And he absolutely insisted on bringing her some level of justice. All 3 of us were friends at one point.
I'm not gonna fault him for doing what he did, but you gotta understand, us doing what we did, it's nothing personal.
I think this was actually personal. I'm pretty sure this was personal.
No, it wasn't. Look, we've been trying to get to the bottom of this We've got Neonet breathing down our necks, same as you. We got a potential high pay grade, too. And honestly, I'm not sure which one I care about more right now.
He looks at Chord with some confusion and intrigue. What's your axe against Neonet?
Well, I guess it's only fair. I know your whole story. It was a bit more public than mine, I guess.
He laughs to himself, but then he just quietly goes back to listening to you.
My grandpa's a corporate man. Worked at Neonet for over 40 years now. Blindly following. No mind of his own. He's not a bad... He wasn't a bad person for it. At least I didn't think so at first. My dad couldn't stand it. My dad found out some of the nasty shit that Neonet gets up to. Not that it's that hard to find. Any corp has its own bullshit. My parents dedicated their lives to taking down corps like Neonet. And when Crash 2.0 happened, they were this close. This close. Grandpa didn't even go to his funeral.
I'm sorry.
Nah, don't be. We got something in common, all right? A grudge. But a grudge only gets you so far. I'd love to see a Neonet burn. More than anything. Sticking it to them's worth more than any new yen. But
Before you go on, allow me to explain something. So he grabs another AR window and slides it over across the desk. And what you see is some malformed shape of blocks just moving up and down in like some strange pattern. This is the Izanagi AI. As I'm sure you've already looked into, what its original purpose was to completely dismantle Grid Guide. Grid Guide, the Grid Overwatch division, all of Neonet's main subsystems they've introduced that have regulated a lot of Matrix activity. This was originally designed by Mitsuhama to completely eradicate and replace it all in one fell swoop. And the whole idea was to bring Neonet just that one peg lower, to knock them down for letting their security get bypassed, to diminish their stock prices, hostile takeovers, the usual corp trek. I had a different idea for this program, and I wanted it to stop at the dismantling Neonet part and possibly do a little bit more damage. See, you know the most painful thing that happened to my wife? It's how slow it was. Just so goddamn slow. It was subtle at first. I didn't even notice. Her eating habits changed a little bit, her side activities. She just sort of seemed to lose interest in stuff. I didn't think too much of it. I thought it was because we were going straight. We were finally going to get out of the game, run our business proper, and make a life, he says, pointing at the house. We were supposed to get out as soon as we were done with that NeoNet run. Do you know how much money we could have made on that run? 2 million new yen. Split it 4 ways. That would have been more than enough to get my business and our lives off the ground for good. Get us off the shadows. She wanted to handle security for our business. I wanted to handle administration. We were going to expand. Then she stopped eating. She stopped talking. And then she just stopped doing everything. Blank stares, just standing or sitting, even right that couch behind you. He says, pointing behind Haas. You just sit there, eyes barely moving, and just constantly jacked in. For days, whole days at a time. And she took very basic chemicals and drugs just to keep herself wired and active. Even the very unhealthy kind. I just didn't think much of it at first, but then when it got progressively worse, I knew it had something to do with the NeoNet and whatever they were researching. And I tried with Tarnus to find what they did do. Just as we got close. One day, just 3 years ago, I found her completely dead, lying dead just in the next room. There's foam in her mouth, and I thought she just drugged herself out, just so she could stay wired. I should have known. I should have known right there in that minute. Tarnus just was thinking I was panicking. I was just trying to take blame out on NeoNet. I was trying to look for somebody to blame. I should have listened to myself that first time. I really should have. Because he told me it was just an accident. It was just because she was sick. It was not my fault. It wasn't your fault, Jameson. And about a year ago, when NeoNet tried to buy up my company, and they did, I thought they were just recognizing my grief and struggling to order the business. I thought they were trying to help. And then I dug just a little deeper why they would care about an electronics company. Just a small little company. And I found records. Records of hushed movements and they killed my wife. I know NeoNet did it. They knew she was infected with the cognitive fragmentation disorder. And they couldn't risk any leaks. They couldn't risk this getting public. Tarnish their already bad image. So they killed her. And they kept themselves quiet and they played supportive. And in my grief, I just signed away my company without even thinking it through. And I gotta live with that. I gotta live with waiting this long to take down NeoNet. So when I finally heard that they were designing this program, he says, pointing at the hologram, Mitsuhama's working on something that could absolutely break down the entire fundamental infrastructure of NeoNet. And I knew NeoNet wanted to get their hands on this before Mitsuhama could deploy it. That's why they hired you. Is so that they could get the upper hand on it, get ahead of the game, and reinforce their system. I just happened to find out that Johnson was going to meet that night, and turns out it happened to go in my favor. Tarnus happened to own the club. I happened to know a few people that could nudge that Johnson in that direction. The only thing we didn't anticipate was NeoNet breaking in or you discovering the ruse, but I didn't have time to explain. So, that's the plan. That's what my agenda was, and that's why I have the Izanagi AI, and I'll tell you now that it is ready to be deployed. I have a VTOL waiting to get me to Boston, their global headquarters. Just take this AI, sneak it into their system, and it would eradicate Neonet one infrastructure at a time. Neonet, gone for good. Possibly even bring down the Grid Overwatch division, bring down Grid Guide, and all those other Matrix security systems that you worry about. He's just pointing to Chord. All gone in a flash. But here we are. So I guess the next question is what your move is.
Look, I get it. Your wife died. Neonet's to blame, no doubt about it. But earlier today, we went out to Redmond. We found your server. All right? The one that she set up.
As you're talking, he's actually starting to pull it up.
That whole fucking place lit up with CFD. And you left it there. You left it there and you guarded it. You put kids off the street right in harm's way. Neonet killed your wife, but you killed that kid, and I had to...
Go on.
I pulled the trigger 6 times on a kid who's brain dead. Or close to it. I can only hope.
I regret that the kid had to suffer such an awful circumstance that was not supposed to happen. And to be honest, I didn't even realize that they had gotten into my host for the longest time.
I'm not about to defend Neonet here. But your wife had CFD.
And I could have treated her. I know if Neonet didn't get involved, I could have treated her. I just needed a few more weeks, a few more months. I could have cracked the code. And they took that opportunity away from me. So I'm not sure you entirely understand how it feels to know that you had a sliver of hope left. Just a sliver. And these greedy fragging companies come right in. And they just run your life. They just decide what the fate of your life is. They just sign a pen on some piece of digital paper. And your wife dies. All because she happened to be in the wrong place and she caught the wrong virus. And
your wife was already
to
dead.
This, Haas?
Say that again.
Are you listening in to
Yeah.
this, Haas? Listen good. You're seeing the worst that Shadowrun can do to a person.
I'm not proud of it. I'm not proud of what steps I've had to take to get to Neonet. I'm not proud Tarnish died. I'm not proud of his security detail that died. I'm not proud of the fact that those kids were caught in your crossfire. And, 12 innocent civilians were killed just to blow up a server. I regret it all came down to that, but you know what? In the long run, if it means getting rid of one of those fragging corpse, it is a small price to pay.
What about the big price?
I paid
could've
that years ago, son.
I could have made a very big price to save those 12 people. My family could have done wonders.
You mean that subsidiary owned by Evo, right? Do you know what Evo's agenda is? Have you bothered looking into what their own agendas are, what their projects and research are all about?
There's a reason I left.
So
Why I
you
do
don't
this
know in any way, shape, or form what Evo would have done with that kind of technology, the nanite technology to rewrite the mind, to rewrite almost the body structure, to just completely control a person, if you will, enhance them, whatever. If they would have had nanites in their back pocket, that would have been their front page cover news. Evo, all about evolution, and they found nanite cures to medical diseases. They figured out how to use it in extenuating war circumstances to interrogate prisoners without having to physically harm them. Many applications, and that would have been their front page news if you would have given that server over to them.
It wouldn't be there if you were stuck in the past.
Oh, go ahead and roll negotiate,
All right.
and I'm gonna roll flat.
Only 3. How rude. Ah!
Do you edge?
I have no more edge.
Oh,
Ooh.
Can
I assist still? I don't know if it'll help.
tell you what, yeah, I'll let you and Haas do negotiate. Teamwork test.
Okay. Charisma. 2.
Okay. You get 6 more dice.
Oh, 7.
There you go.
Lucky.
Oh my god, thank you, boys.
Lucky.
So he looks off to the side and he kind of contemplates to himself.
This isn't any different than where you were before when your wife was stuck on that couch, jacked in. You left something to fester, and people have died because of it. That's blood on your hands. Just like you said, you could have cured it.
Well, I guess we all have sins to atone for now, don't we?
There's
Right.
only one difference between my sins and yours. I don't regret them.
I don't like this. I don't like this one bit.
Well, it seems you have a few options. You could turn me over to the cops. Lord knows they would want to arrest me for having the program. You could turn me over to Neonet. You could shoot me right here. Can't exactly blame you for it. Or, heaven forbid, you can help me take down Neonet.
All it takes is a flight to Boston, right?
I do have a VTOL waiting. It's arranged to pick me up tomorrow to get me over to Boston.
What are you
But that-
thinking, Chord?
I mean, I don't like working with this guy any more than I like working with NeoNet.
I don't think
So
we
look,
can
as
handle that kind of heat.
as a gesture of good faith, you actually notice the Izanagi representation here. It blinks green and then it turns into a solid shape, like a solid cube. He freezes for a second, like I guess it finished. He closes the AR window and then he flicks a ping over to the three of you. You can find the Izanagi program downstairs as a gesture of good faith. Just you won't be able to extract from the hard drive without a certain encryption, which, if you are willing to help me, I can decrypt it so it can be usable. And Shade hears this and he's like, tell you what, I'll go ahead and go down and get it. So he actually goes downstairs and he'll eventually come back with it. Like I said, I have nowhere to go with this.
Out of this.
I don't wanna do either. This sounds like a bad idea all the way
So you
around.
play nice with the corpse, they'll leave you alone eventually. You go with this guy,
And
you're
Jameson.
going to be Shadowrunning forever.
Jameson's laughing.
Can't we just I don't know, can't we just destroy it? Like just flat out gone and be done with both of them? Turn them in. Or maybe I don't know. I don't want this bad juju on me. This is bad. I don't want nothing to do with it.
Huss, was it?
That's what
Here's
my
the
friends
thing.
call me.
Well, it's the only name I know you by, so it'll have to do. But, Hoss, do you understand what would happen? Before you even came to me, you knew too much about the program. And NeoNet doesn't want to have any sort of publicity linking them to this entire incident that you've all been involved in. They don't want to be linked to the Redmond Barons incident. They don't want to be linked to you. They don't want to be linked to me. They don't want to be linked to Mitsuhama. They want this all under the rug. And you know the quickest way they can do that? He looks at Chord because he believes he knows the answer.
They kill us.
They won't pay you. You know way too much about this program. If it was their Johnson that night, you got the program and got it to him, they would have paid you. But unfortunately, under the circumstances, and because you know a bit too much about their operation, and I'm sure Eliza is breathing hot water right now, NeoNet would need to clean you up, get you off the streets, and what you know about the Izanagi program up and away. And you can't even tell anyone about it, because if I recall, your friend Chord here, he tried to look for a buyer for the program. And yes, I did see that, Chord. So, no Shadowrunners would believe you. There's no such thing as a god killer. So why would anyone believe you? NeoNet could just dismiss all your claims in the public eye. And they have the power, they have the control, they have the money to do so. Publicity won't get you anywhere, kid.
No one has to believe me if I make it public.
Even then, they could still sweep it under the rug with enough well-placed matrix control elements that NeoNet is still some power over. And as he's saying this, Shade finally comes in, and he's got the drive that you had given up so long ago, and he gives it to Chord. It's intact, no damage. I mean, it's all right there, just we can't really access it.
I jack it into my cyber deck.
You certainly try, and it is very heavily encrypted. It would be very difficult. Almost impossible at the level of this encryption.
There's a lot of symptoms here about NeoNet. They could hire out.
I'm just telling you what Neonet would most likely do in this case, and what I have heard chatter of them wanting to do. But the ball is in your court, it seems.
Chord, we hit this deadline 38 hours beforehand. That stands for efficiency. Neonet can hire up if we play ball.
Shade, he suddenly looks off to the side toward the door. I think I hear something. Let me check it out. And he walks out. Jameson looks at him kind of surprised and confused. But then he looks back at Smiley. Expecting some backup.
2 snipers. Yakuza. Listen, the only way Haas gets out of this clean is giving it the program over. You want him to be a revolutionary with you for the rest of his life? He's got cats to feed. He's got to pay those arms off. He's got a mother who cares about him. Can you remember any time in this fucking city that a mother cares about her son like that?
It's true.
I mean, wait a minute. Let's not do this on my account. I mean, I could still get like lines through to my mom, right? I
Fucking look at him, Jameson. He's a troll, but he's young.
Did I go invisible? Could nobody see me right now?
Kid, we do see you, but one thing Smiley, I guess, is preferring to tell you is that since you have come this far into the shadows, I'm going to be honest with you, kid. I've been doing this for a number of years. And once you're in, and once you've screwed over a corp or you've gotten in trouble with a corp, they won't stop coming after you. They will come after you, and they will come after your mother, your father, or anybody else you know, your friends, your family. And they will do everything it takes to bring you down, just to keep you quiet about the ANARCHY program. It doesn't matter what you do for them. It doesn't matter how nice you are to them. It doesn't matter what all circumstances and sacrifices you've made for them. They don't care. You are a number. You're not even a number in their books. You're non-existent.
You're making a real good case to kill you right now.
I'm just saying, you shouldn't stay in Seattle no matter how this thing turns down. You are not safe here, and you can't go back to your old life anymore. Not after everything you've done here. He says, looking at the AR holograms containing the news report of the Redmond bombing, the news report and the security footage of the Midnight Blaze, the bank robbery, and just all this stuff that you guys have done in the past 2 days. Your only hope right at the moment, aside from just getting out of Dodge and finding a new life with a new sin, is to take down the people who want to hunt you down. I'm sorry, kid. I wish there was an easy answer, and I wish there was a way I could soften that, but that's the facts.
So this is all this is all your fault then, because you stepped in and you found it convenient to you. Now my life is over as I know it.
Again, I didn't intend things to go down this way, but
Fucking own your mistakes, Jameson.
I do. And then you hear Shade chiming in on the radio, and I am going to spend a plot point for this. In fact, I'm pretty sure all my plot points are about to get burned here in a second. You hear Shade over the radio, and he says, guys, we got company, and it's not our Yakuza. And just after a minute, you hear a commotion out in the distance. You hear, like a smoke grenade, like a shh. And then you hear a couple of pops from familiar sound, a flashbang, in fact. And then you hear the sirens of the Knight Errant patrol cars all around the building. You hear 2 VTOLs hovering overhead. You hear at least a number of streetcars outside, and you hear men rushing in. But you do hear Shade just go, "Ugh, hey, let me go!" And he says, he goes, yeah, what do you say in this situation? One of the VIPs on the
Did Shade get flashbanged while that happened? Is that what just happened? Because there's no way he would have not shot those people unless he couldn't see them.
Nope, he couldn't see them. So
He
what happens
has player
is,
compensation.
oh gosh, gee golly willikers, guess I better roll that. Oh
You're
wait.
muted for.
Okay.
If only he was here right now to defend his flare compensation.
Okay, but anyway, you hear radio chatter all of a sudden going, one of the VIPs are incapacitated, move in on the target. Do not hurt the VIPs. And
Turrets
Jameson's,
on.
at this point you notice the power suddenly cut off. So another
Fuck!
point.
Why didn't we think of that?
So the entire power to the whole building cuts off.
Wait,
And then-
plot point. Hold the fucking phone. The reason we didn't do this to begin with was because you stated excellently so about the amount of generators this man has in tow. Plot point, remember that shit.
Well, they don't seem to kick on right this second.
Oh, fucking sure. Of course.
But anyway, just as you notice, like red lights come on from the backup generator, through the window Haas broke a second ago, through one of the side rooms, and through the main door where Shade earlier left, you see Knight Errant rush into the room, and they say, "Freeze! Don't move!"
So
And-
is flare compensation really just windshield wipers for bullshit?
In actual honesty, no joke, they are glorified sunglasses.
God.
No joke. But the Knight Errant basically come up with multiple guns pointed at you, and they're basically training on you, but they're not firing. They're not tasing you or anything. It's like area secure, sir. Moving on the target, and then that's when you see a couple of the Knight Errant officers move past you, completely ignoring you, and they basically gun bunt Jameson on the head and knock him out. And then they pick him up and they start dragging him away. One of the Knight Errant officers, who's just looking at you and keeping the gun pointed at you, just says, Knight Errant thanks you for your cooperation. You've done a good thing bringing this criminal to justice.
Plot point. One of the Yakuza members shoots Jameson as he's being dragged away in the head.
Plot point, communications are currently off with the Yakuza.
Fuck.
In fact, it's a good chance that when they heard all the sirens, they must have cut and run. Very good chance. So Knight Errant is now being dragged away, or is dragging away Mr. Jameson. And the cops are still holding you there, just keeping you still for a second. And then you hear over the radio chatter, targets being moved, release the VIPs. All the Knight Errant, multiple men, they just lower their guns and they say, and the captain, I guess, says, your cooperation's been appreciated, sir. Have a good rest of your day. He says just to Chord. And then they leave the premises. You do still hear the VTOLs and drones in the cars just keeping the scene set.
Let's start fingered. Wham!
But they start pulling out, leaving you guys at a vacant house. However, after some time had passed, who do I want to call? Speedy. I think I'm going to call you, actually. Your fixer, Mason, calls you after some time had passed. And just minor stuff. He asks what's going on, what happened. I thought you were doing fine. And then he tells you he's tracking the car. And he tells you, it looks like they're taking him over to the Neonet facility. Not Neonet. They're taking him over to the Knight Errant. What do they call the police headquarters? Precinct. That's it.
Yes.
They're taking him over to the precinct. And sorry, I hope you don't mind, but I've been listening to their chatter. And Neonet's negotiating to have him transferred. Here soon, anyway. They'll just lock him in the precinct for now. You want me to keep a feed on this?
Yeah.
All right.
Keep me posted.
Yeah, I'll keep tabs and let you know what's up. And he goes off the comm. And after some time, the rest of the Knight Errant pawns, they just completely leave you alone despite anything and everything you have done up to this point. They just go away one card at a time, leaving you at the house by yourselves.
All right. I don't know what the fuck just happened. But still have the Izanagi. And Haas, you might still have a way out.
Oh, fuck. I just noticed the time. Okay. So, as you're saying this, and as the Knight Errant have finished leaving, and Shade was obviously released, and he just came back in grumbling about how they flashbanged him again. And how he swears he's going to get a refund on that flare compensation.
Yeah.
He deserves one.
He does.
Chord, you do get a ping on your phone, and it's from Eliza. And she says, "Good work on getting the program. I'm going to set a meet for tomorrow to make the exchange. I'll give you the coordinates. When we're closer to the date." And that's all she sends you.
All right.
Well, I think this is the best opportunity for us to kind of wrap up the night.
Nothing personal.
Damn, I'm really not sure how to feel right now.
Yeah.
I'm in a weird place.
Like, obviously my character's upset, but I don't even know what it means for them. Obviously, like, they're not worried, but they're very worried for me, which is, it's actually like refreshing because, well, from my understanding of how Shadowrun works, it's you pretty much take care of yourself. So when it comes to it, yeah, when it comes to other Shadowrunners taking care of you, it's a little surprising. I think we call that there. Realistically, I'm curious, how many more sessions will we be going through? Shenanigans aside.
Okay, no joke. I did tell you guys in our Discord that we had one optional side mission. Take a grand guess what that mission is.
Retrieval.
Go to Boston.
Retrieve.
Is it go to Boston or is it retrieval? It feels like it's retrieval. If it's Boston, that could be like a whole slew of other
Yeah,
missions.
let's go into
basically Speedy kind of got tabs on a potential transfer from Knight Errant to Neonet of Mr. Jameson. So you could possibly rescue him. Possibly, if you so desire. But that is one potential session if you guys absolutely choose to do so. And one more after that. Well, that's assuming you do take it. If you don't, then we just go right to the ending next session.
Well, I think we should make a call now.
I don't want to make a call without LZT.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, regardless, so we've got a session. We either have one session or two sessions, and if I don't want to prematurely say, well, let's just cut it down to one, just because I'm not really entirely sure how he's feeling. But I think I feel like two's safe. I feel like we can get through the primary retrieval mission in a session, and
Two sounds safe.
I feel like I'm leaning to two. If everybody else is okay with that.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, if you guys decide to go get Mr. Jameson, the only thing left is to just go turn in the Izanagi to Eliza.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, guys, you've
Whoa.
you heard it here.
What's your plan for like the third option where Chord just goes to Boston alone and tries to shut down the Onet?
And I take Haas to I teach him Spirithil so he can speak the language of my people, and we go live with my dad in hippie swamp.
All right, so because
They'll never find us.
Because we hit this point and you guys learned about the Boston reveal, I'm kind of inclined to tell you about a loose end I may be leaving open in case you guys really like what you're doing here and we really like this show. So, let me just go ahead and lay it on forward. So, the possible sequel to this campaign, heaven forbid it ever does happen, if you guys like it enough or you really want to see more of it, this can be followed up in one of two methods. It can be followed up through an actual role-playing campaign like we're doing here, in a book called Lockdown.
Boston Lockdown.
And then the video game Shadowrun Chronicles Boston Lockdown. That is the second option. So it's like you guys get together as 4 players, play the game together, and play it off as a sequel to this campaign. Or we play the Lockdown campaign written basically in the same setting, the same circumstances, etc. But that is not something to think about right now. That's just like, hey, here's what might happen depending.
Yeah.
And you guys know about the Boston thing already. And if you guys really do want to continue, those are possible things.
Sure. Well, I think we can discuss that in the Discord. I feel like that's safe. I know that our main man Speedy's going to have to roll so we can get some slips. So let's do a quick spiel and tell everybody about us, where we can find us, what we're doing. We'll actually start with Speedy. Go ahead and tell us what you're doing, man. How are you doing? What are you doing? Where can we find you?
Hello. My name is Speedy. I run a channel called NotSoSpeedRuns, where I play like indie games and some tabletop games sometimes. I also help organize a community called Cast Together of streamers advocating for mental health. That community is currently having a month-long charity campaign for Crisis Text Line. And so we're doing like a bunch of streams, some of them tabletop. So 4 is going to be GMing some Mouse Guard this Thursday and possibly like next Thursday and maybe the Thursday after that. I don't know what the deal is. We'll see how many people are interested in stuff. And Saturday we'll have like community games. We're calling the event Co-Optober. We're focusing on non-violent cooperative games, like Mouse Guard, for instance, or like Overcooked, or whatever.
Fun things.
Yeah, fun, wholesome things for the whole family. I'm also
not murdering people.
Not murdering people. The good, wholesome fun of not murder.
That sounds like something Smiley would say.
I approve.
Also, this Wednesday on my channel, I'm going to be doing a charity one-shot in Honey Heist. That'll be as a Take This ambassador. Take This is another awesome mental health charity, specifically in gaming, and they like just started their ambassador program, so they got like 15 streamers, something like that, and I happen to be one of them. And so I'll be running a game of Honey Heist for a couple of the other ambassadors and a few other friends. And if you're not familiar with Honey Heist, it's a game of bears stealing honey, and it is absolutely ridiculous, and I cannot wait for it. It's gonna be we're gonna be calling it My Honey Vice.
Wow.
I'm very excited. I started watching Miami Vice for the first time to prepare for it, and so you should definitely come out for that. That's gonna be on my channel on Wednesday.
Very nice.
It's dope. All right.
Hell yeah.
4.
Hi, my name is 4. I am a Mouse Guard mouse master, and I'm hoping to do the October thing. Come see it on Cast Together. I also run Dungeons & Dragons 4th edition on Sundays. We just got through our third session, and the lore and the drama of a World War I fantasy style game is tremendously potent. And come by and see it. I'll be uploading the episodes pretty soon on YouTube. And speaking of that, the Cruise and Cragoths episodes of our podcast is on YouTube right now. So if you go to my channel and check that out, you can listen to me and Abigator Frenzy get down to what makes the Monster Manual so queer and how you can bring and that's all I got.
Oh my god, I love it.
Wow.
Oh man.
Good.
Well, let's go with Misfortune.
I am Misfortune. I'm a guy. That's about it. I'm a guy who wrecks people's emotions and destroys their dreams and, like, feel-goods. But aside from that,
And loves flare compensation.
And
Yeah.
loves flare
Oh, yeah.
compensation. Hey, he wanted to make it a big deal, so I made it a big deal. Anyway, I'm pretty much found here on the Bubbernaut, at least till the remainder of the Shadowrun campaign. I don't know what I'm doing after. I don't know if I'm going to launch my own Twitch channel. I don't know what I'm going to do with it yet. I may or may not do other Shadowrun-y things on different channels. Who can say? I don't know yet. I can't predict the future. Even though I'm a game master and I should know everything, right? Okay,
Should.
but should. Keyword.
Yes.
So, yeah, that's basically me in a nutshell, and I'm just here every week until the Shadowrun campaign is done.
Okay. And you guys know that we've got about 2 sessions left, or so it seems, and potentially more in the future. Video games, so
So good. those
I'm
games.
saturated in the Shadowrun universe. If you guys don't know who I am, which is kind of a shame already. I'm Bub, the Bubbernaut. I do tabletop stuff, which has kind of tapered down a lot recently. I'm actually playing more on streams more than I'm running, which is wild because at one point I was running 7 games a week.
Oof.
Yeah, yeah.
Yikes.
That was 7 games
Were
a
they
week.
all terrible?
No, they were not. It was all Pathfinder, 7 games a week on this stream, and then I was running 4 off stream.
Bub, tell me your secret. I can barely handle 3.
Bub,
You know,
I can't handle like one.
it was
I'm barely able to handle a podcast.
it was a lot of energy drinks and self-loathing. So
That makes a lot of sense.
yeah.
Well, I got the self-loathing down. I guess I need more energy drinks.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. But we will be seeing more in the future. It looks like I'll be launching in the next couple of months. You guys will see a launch of either Kids on Bikes or Tales from the Loop. You will see a launch of The Mummy's Mask, a Pathfinder adventure path. And it looks like the Pokemon tabletop will be arriving in the next 3 months. Yeah, right now my
Probably
mind
just Bub playing more Shadowrun video games.
something right. Like right now my current flavor is Pathfinder Kingmaker, and I want to say that I'm getting close to the end, but I don't even think I'm a third of the way done. 60 hours in. It's a fucking
Dang.
huge game, and it's amazing. It's probably he is hands down one of the funniest people on all of Twitch. I cannot recommend it enough. So go ahead.